Well, hello everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Aerobility TV, Aerobility's first podcast, updating you with the very best updates from the Aerobility charity. First today, we're going to be talking about the ARMCHAIR Air Show, which was an incredible event. Started on the 20th of June and featured pilots from around the globe all coming together to supplement the air show scene with the world's first virtual air show. Now, we're very lucky today because we've got two people waiting in the wing ready to run in and help me. So I'm going to firstly call on Mike Miller-Smith because he was heavily involved in this operation. Hi Mike, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, Harvey. Thank you for this first ever Aerobility TV.
Yeah, fingers crossed it goes well. So, the Aerobility Armchair Air Show obviously started off as a big idea and it became an even bigger event. What gave you the idea to host the virtual air show, and what was it?
I think we quickly realised when lockdown started that it was important for Airability still to support the people that we fly, people with disabilities with an interest in aviation. So we quickly thought of a way that we could interact, and we did that with Inspirability, with interesting pilots and people with great stories to tell, doing a regular live stream through YouTube, and that went well. So we thought, actually, could we make that even bigger? We've got some great support and help from the flying community, particularly the airshow community. And we thought, actually, with the people that we know, why don't we try and put on an online airshow? So we took it that step further to bring together some of the most amazing airplanes and pilots from around the world, brought them in live, and created the crazy ARMCHAIR Airshow. And we had some great support as well from our the wider Aerobility families, we like to call it, organisations, people, individuals, companies that help us do what we do. So they got involved as well, and the ARMCHAIR Air Show was born.
It was really an incredible event. I think what was special about it was the real variety of the pilots and the slaves. Was it everything you imagined it would be?
I think it was that and more, wasn't it? I think from the fact it had from paragliders through to the space shuttle, flying F-18s off an aircraft carrier, through to meeting some of the amazing Airability flyers like yourself. So that was just brilliant, just to show the full breadth of aviation and the wider community that supports disabled aviation. So yeah, it was a real success, and actually the fact that we raised some money as well to see us to the end of the year and ensure the future survival of the charity during these crazy times was, of course, equally valuable output from the project.
And I think the impact it had going forward, we managed to raise enough to fund 240 trial flights, which is really a huge impact on the disabled community that we serve. And obviously, the whole thing wouldn't have been possible without the help of our technical partners, James TV, who helped us to produce the event. And on top of that, the event was so successful that shortly after we had to run the unseen ARMCHAIR Air Show on the 5th of July. Both of the air shows are still available on the Aerobility YouTube channel, Aerobility Charity. So if you've got 5 minutes or a couple of hours more ideally, because you will be captivated, please do go over and give it a look. Mike, I'll be picking on you again in a couple of minutes, if that's okay, but I'll crack on with the show.
Yeah, no problem at all. I'll tell you what we could do. In terms of a little teaser, I could show a couple of seconds just to show how cool some of that Armchair Airshow unseen footage was. Let's go back to... let's have a quick look at Nick Smith landing the F-18 on the carrier. Let's have a quick look. Let me, if I press the right button here, we should be able to see it.
Looking back at myself, finals term, day, nice weather like this, what we call case one, we'll fly a visual pattern here. So rolling out on finals, and I'm actually targeting only about 15 to 18 seconds on finals. And that is just to keep our recoveries expeditious and get as many jets on board as quickly and safely as possible. Here, just making small corrections. You'll see the flight deck come under me, and then it's sort of surprise is what we're looking for. I'm busy flying accurately, and I'll be surprised by the jet hitting the deck if I'm doing it properly. Rolling backwards slightly, releasing the cable, hook goes up, and a thumbs up to the ground crew sounds serviceable.
1,500 pounds right now.
From the HUD view here, you can see rolling out on finals. About 250 feet above the ocean. I'm a little bit high now, which I can see from the...
I mean, how cool is that? So yeah, go...
That for me was a show highlight. It was just, I became totally engrossed with how accurate that flight needs to be. Thank you very much, Mike. And that there we can pop into the outtakes at the end. I completely forgot we had an amazing clip from an amazing airshow. Anyway, moving on to section 2 of our podcast. It's our COVID update. And luckily we have an update from just this morning. So as you know, Aerobility #1 priority over the next month and into the future is ensuring the safety of its community. We have started flying with some of the flyers whom we know very well, and we are practicing and always updating our procedures to make Aerobility the very safest place to be for our flights. An update from this morning is that a questionnaire will be coming out shortly to ask flyers who have flown in the last couple of days what they see their flying being like over the next year, and then, if at all, we can get them into the Aerobility buildings to help them through this period of isolation. Mike, as the guy in charge, I'll leave you to say a bit more about that.
Yeah, so we've been working for the last few weeks to safely reintroduce solo flight and some limited checkout flights for people to go solo again. So we've been doing that very carefully. That's gone well. Community infection rates remain low, thank goodness, for the time being, for certain. And also we've put in some procedures for biosecurity, so use of UV sterilisation, wiping down. The building is locked, making sure that people only have one-to-one interaction. So it's a very restricted, controlled environment, so we can control the virus. So we do believe, though, that if the rates in the community do remain low, then actually we should be able to resume a little bit more flying. So we're going to send out this questionnaire to everybody that's flown in the last 2 years and see what your aspirations are. If you could come and fly, would you? So if we can start flying again during August, then would you like to get booked in? So that gives us a chance to understand the need as well. So yeah, look out for that questionnaire to come in via Survey Monkey in the next few days, and then let us know by replying through the website what you'd like to do, whether you'd like to come and fly.
Cool. It sounds excellent, and great that we can get back to normal, the new normal as soon as possible, but obviously as safely as we can. So we keep on monitoring and improving our procedures every single day. Right, now we're on to the aviation education program, and we've got a few pictures for you as well for the segment. The aviation education program is one of Aerobility's flagship youth programs, based around giving youngsters confidence and transferable skills that they can take into the workplace and into later life to, as we always hope to do, improve somebody's overwhelming. This year, after a brief break, the programme came into fruition again with a new group of 8 youngsters covering a range of aviation-based topics. Now, in April, due to COVID, we were unfortunately cut short with the programme. But like everything else, the show must go on, and we were able, because of our team of very dedicated volunteers, to move the programme online and deliver the service virtually, which had a great impact on the group. We are now looking for applicants for our next program, which we are hoping to start face to face in the spring of next year. And we encourage anyone who knows a 12 to 18-year-old with moderate to mild learning or physical disability. Our website. Next is Swim for Victory. Now, whilst much of the UK saw changes in their work patterns with furloughing over lockdown, Aerobility trustee Neil Tucker refused to believe that there was nothing he could do to help on the front line of COVID. And we have him here today. Hi, Neil.
Hi, Harvey. How are you doing?
Not bad. How are you?
I'm very, very good. Thanks. Thanks for inviting me onto your show.
Hey.
So,
Yeah.
Pre was formed at the tail end of March. My wife, who's a GP, said to me, "Can you take that silly little 3D printed toy that you've got and talk a lot about and print me 2 or 3 of those visors to help me in work?" Because she had no PPE. And, you know, I got really frustrated. Ex-forces, and for the first time in my life, my country goes to war, and you used the right word there, Harvey, front line. And I couldn't hold my hand up for a rifle. I couldn't take part in the battle because I was shielding, I'm disabled. And I knew that if I felt like that, there was a lot of people out there that would feel the same thing. So in the first week, we delivered 2 visors, and then I set up Print for Victory and managed to get a lot of people in to help us. Within a couple of weeks, we had 600 printers around the UK, all making these 3D printed visor shields and giving them to the nurses, to the GPs, to the carers, and to the doctors in the local community. So it really was a community-driven thing. And by the 7th week, we'd gone from 2 visors to producing over 22,000 visors in 7 weeks. So that's 22,000 faces covered, free of charge. A lovely photo of our colleague Stuart there wearing one of the visors. 22,000 faces covered, free of charge and protected. And there's the most important one, my lovely wife, who was the first person to wear one of our visors. And I think the really key thing about this is, and what a lot of people didn't understand, was that the people who were making this all happen, making Print for Victory happen, were locked up, shielding, they were disabled, they had other reasons why they couldn't engage with society. Print for Victory. A lot
the repercussions of having a disabled workforce, at least some of them must have been for those individuals and
Well,
a really important part of the team.
they were essentially, without Aerobility and the disabled people and the volunteers from Aerobility, it's quite simple. Print for Victory wouldn't have happened. And I noticed earlier on, Harvey, you used the phrase the impact Aerobility has on the disabled community. Well, Aerobility and Print for Victory flipped that completely on its head, and we proved how we as disabled people can enable and make an impact on the community as a whole. So it was all about re-engagement, re-enablement, and it just was wonderful to be a part of it and wonderful to have Airability being involved.
It is, and I think the best memory I have of that whole thing is seeing you on the first day with a handful of people on your Facebook page, and then waking up the next morning and you've got hundreds, and the next day you have thousands. It was
It's
just,
incredible.
it was amazing.
It was amazing, and I think the reason why it was so successful, Harvey, was because, first of all, people believed in what they were doing. That they were doing it for nothing. They were putting in their own time at their own cost. Each visor they made was costing them money, and we were able to raise some donations to help them with that. But it was something that they passionately believed in doing, and therefore the figures were they were a runaway success. They really were, and it was. I would consider it. I'm sure you feel the same. That for a lot of our people who were involved, it was a defining moment of our lives. It was just amazing. And the reality is, if for all those 22,000 visors that were produced by us, by the volunteers and by the people from Aerobility, if you managed to save one life, what else could you want? What else could you want?
That's it. And it was all about community, and that is, I think, sums up this year. Thank you very much, Neil, and what an incredible story. And to save Mike a job behind the scenes, I was going to keep you there, but because now we are going on to talk about another project that Neil is involved in, and that is the Glob 109 Project Able, which is an ambitious project, one that has fortunately come off and is in motion, and a project also about community like Film for Victory, returning the Glob 109 Vigilant, which was an iconic aircraft used to train thousands of air cadets, back into the sky after being decommissioned a few years ago, and hopefully returning it to public use. And I think in a moment we'll have a video coming on of one of our first Globs undergoing testing for stability at VNE. But no, be involved in such a project.
Sorry, Harvey, I missed you then, chap. Do you ask me a question?
Yeah, what is it like to be involved in a project such as this?
It's just incredible. I mean, if my own personal experience, in 2014, I was, on the way out due to an accident, and now I'm involved in something that's as magic and life transforming as Airability, and this is a perfect example of how Airability re-enables lives through this sort of project. You're taking a well-known and well-respected airframe, you're bringing it bang up to date with the most modern avionics, engines, propellers, the whole 9 yards. And not only will it be going now to a new generation of pilots, you can see him there, he's given it a good whack. That's not normal flying techniques, obviously. He's testing it for its stability. But not only are you rejuvenating the airframes and bringing them back to a new lease of life with the most modern bits, but in the project, you're able to facilitate the lives of disabled pilots by getting them into the air with the aircraft that we will adapt and modernise as part of the programme.
Yeah, and as a trustee yourself, I'm sure you can agree that even after all Aerobility is done, this could be one of their most ambitious projects, but can also be a project to drag us into the next Aerobility era.
A man's reach has got to extend his grasp. So it was it took a long time to come to the decision. But the great thing that really de-risks this project as a whole is that we've got a whole range of partners, whether you're talking about the Ministry of Defence or GROB or Southern Sailplanes or people like Garmin, Seismic and Rotax. They're all playing a wonderful part in this project, and they all get it. No one's been brought to this project with a gun against their head. They're all fully involved, full stakeholders, and they really are behind it. So that de-risks the whole decision process and is the reason why it's going to be such a great success for all of us. And when I say all of us, I don't mean just the disabled flying community. I mean the flying community as a whole and worldwide. So difficult decision, long decision, but yeah, wow, the right decision.
Yeah, what an incredible decision to make. And you are doing good things at Aerobility and beyond. So keep up the good work. Right, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your help today, mate. So that's all for this episode of Aerobility TV. I hope you have enjoyed it. Thank you to everyone who contributed to this programme, and especially my guest, Neil Tucker, an Aerobility trustee, and of course my guest and esteemed producer, Mike Miller-Smith, CEO of Aerobility. For me, it's goodbye.